Hello and welcome to Coach Steve Learning. Today we'll be doing understanding angles. So this is just an introductory video for understanding angles. Now let's have a look. What is an angle? An angle is formed when two straight lines meet at a point. And so, for example, if I was to have a pen and a pen as two straight lines, if I meet them together, I touch them, there are two straight lines that are meeting at a point, and that is an angle. Okay? Now, an angle is also the measure of turn between two straight lines. Now, what do we mean the measure of turn? So let's say we've started with these two lines, they're together, they're all facing the same side. There is no distance between them. But if I start turning the red pen, which I believe you can see turning, the space, the gap between them is increasing, although they are still meeting at the point. Okay? Now we can say I am increasing the turn of the red pen, which can also be said I'm increasing the angle between the two pens. Okay? Hope that is well understood. Now, angles are measured in degrees, and a full turn is 360 degrees. Now, what do you mean when you say a full turn? So, for example, I have my point A here, okay? And if I was to assume this pen is to mark the blue, is to mark the point, and I'm going to turn it all the way until it comes back again there, it has just done a full turn, okay? And therefore we can say the turn is full, okay? And we've said a full turn is equals to 360 degrees. That's how we write that, okay? Now, the next part is we're going to be looking at angles. Okay, we're going to be looking at other angles. There are different angles based on how much turn they have. Okay, now, next we have acute angles. Now, an acute angle, this is an angle that has a turn that is less than 90. We'll be looking at that. So, for example, that. So if I draw a line like that, that means from this original line all the way coming here, as you can see that part. Now this is what we call an acute angle. Now we say an acute angle is greater than 0 degrees but less than 90 degrees. Okay? And then the next one, now that is what we call an acute angle. Just for symbolization, remember an acute angle looks like an arrow, like the pointy bit of an arrow. Then the next one we have right angle. Now, right angle is basically two lines meeting like that, okay? And it's symbolized by a small square, like that. Okay, now if you see a symbol like this means this angle is equal to 90 degrees and it is called a right angle. Okay, right angle, 90 degrees. Then we go to the next part, which is what we call obtuse angle. Now, obtuse angle, these are angles that are more than 90 degrees but less than 180. An example is the angle like this, okay? So if I draw a straight line there, so the angle here is coming all the way, okay? But it's still not yet at 180. So we say this is obtuse angle are greater than 90 degrees, but less than 180 degrees. Okay? Then we have what we call angles on a straight line or half a turn. Now, what do we mean by half a turn? Half a turn means I started from here, okay? I went round, and I went down there. Now, that's an example of half a turn. So how does that look like? It will look like this. Okay? It will look like that. That is an example of half a turn, angles on a line. Then the next part, we have a reflex angle. Now, so we say angle at a turn on a line is equal to 180 degrees. Then the last angle we have reflex angle. These are angles that are more than 180 but less than 360. They are not yet a full turn. And how will those look like? So they will be having a line like that, okay? And therefore, so the angle right here, okay? That's all a reflex angle. Now we say, so these are angles that are greater than 180 degrees, but less than 360 degrees, okay? Now, those are the main types of angles for you to know and remember. Remember, these are all of that. Now, just as a summary, I'll go back to the original so that I'm able to separate them for you. Now remember that if this is like that, if this is cut in 4, okay? If this is cut in 4, the angles that are here, will be acute. I'll use A for acute, okay? All these angles between these two lines. That is an example of acute. It could be 20 degrees, it could be 30 degrees, it could be 70 degrees, it could be 80 degrees. All these angles are between here, okay? Acute angles. Then we have obtuse angles. I'll use letter O. Okay, so anything that is more than 90, that could be 100 degrees, 120 degrees, 150 degrees, as long as it's less than 180. All those are obtuse angles. Then, so the obtuse angles will be starting all the way from here, coming all the way here. Then you have lastly the reflex angle. Now reflex angle will be both of these parts here, okay? So all the angles that will be on this side will be reflex angles. So that we have, let's say 190 degrees, 210 degrees, 270. Actually, this line here is 270 degrees, this line here, because we've seen this one was 90, this one was 180, this is 270. We can say 300 degrees, we can say 350 degrees. All these angles are part of reflex angles. Okay, thank you, and shout out to One Chichi.